On the afternoon of July 18, 1989, gunfire erupted outside a West Hollywood apartment, forever altering Hollywood's history. Rebecca Schaeffer, a 21-year-old actress with a radiant smile, delicate features, and a career soaring like a kite in the wind, collapsed in a pool of blood on her own doorstep. The killer wasn't a common criminal or a jealous rival, but 19-year-old Robert John Bardo, a self-proclaimed most devoted fan. Rebecca's tragic death didn't just steal a young talent, it exposed a horrifying truth in the glittering world of fame. The line between love and obsession, admiration and possession, can be as thin as paper. When police arrived, Bardo was still clutching a copy of The Catcher in the Rye, the same novel Mark David Chapman had read after assassinating John Lennon in 1980. The chilling parallel sent shivers through the public. But unlike Lennon's case, Rebecca's murder ignited outrage powerful enough to reshape American law, forcing society to confront the dark cost of celebrity. Born on November 6, 1966, in Eugene, Oregon, Rebecca Schaeffer began her rise to fame with the hit TV series My Sister Sam, 1986 to 1988, where she played Pam. With her luminous beauty and effortless charm, she was hailed as one of Hollywood's brightest young stars. She appeared in Woody Allen's Radio Days and was negotiating major roles when tragedy struck. Her co-star Pam Dauber once said, "Rebecca had this rare glow. Her smile could light up a room. Yet behind the spotlight lurked a nightmare." For 2 years, Bardo stalked Rebecca, sending dozens of handwritten letters, some disturbingly unhinged, all ignored. Undeterred, he even showed up at her studio, only to be turned away by security. Then, in a shockingly easy feat for the time, he paid a private investigator $250 to obtain her home address. On that fateful day, armed with a revolver, a dog-eared copy of The Catcher in the Rye, and a photo of Rebecca inscribed "You're the reason I live," he rang her doorbell. When Rebecca opened the door, Bardo fired point-blank into her chest. She fell instantly, her white audition dress soaked in blood. Death came so fast she likely never understood what happened. As neighbors screamed, Bardo walked away calmly, leaving his shattered family and a Hollywood in shock. Rebecca's story wasn't just a crime, it was a wake-up call. Her death spurred California's anti-stalking laws and exposed the entertainment industry's negligence in protecting stars' privacy. Yet today, as a single Google search can unveil anyone's address, I can't help but wonder, have we truly learned? In an era of digital obsession, are the Rebecca Schaeffers of this generation any safer? The tragedy of July 18, from fan to killer. The morning of July 18, 1989, dawned with deceptive normalcy in West Hollywood. Rebecca Schaeffer, the vibrant 21-year-old star of My Sister Sam, moved about her modest apartment on Havenhurst Drive, preparing for what should have been just another day in her blossoming career. The rising actress, whose performances in Radio Days and scenes from the class struggle in Beverly Hills had marked her as one of Hollywood's most promising young talents, had no way of knowing that the doorbell's chime at 9:30 a.m. would be the last sound she'd ever hear. When Rebecca opened the door, she found herself staring into the face of Robert John Bardo, a 19-year-old fan she'd briefly met months earlier during a studio visit. The encounter lasted mere seconds. Without warning or hesitation, Bardo raised a .32 caliber revolver and fired a single shot directly into Rebecca's chest at point-blank range. The bullet tore through her heart, killing her almost instantly. She collapsed in the doorway, her pale pink nightgown, the same one she'd worn during a recent phone interview about her upcoming projects, rapidly staining crimson. Neighbors reported hearing the gunshot and subsequent screams. But by the time help arrived, Rebecca Schaeffer was already gone. This shocking act of violence didn't emerge from nowhere. The path to Rebecca's murder began 2 years earlier, in 1987. When Bardo first saw her on My Sister Sam. What began as typical teenage fandom quickly spiraled into dangerous obsession. Bardo started sending Rebecca dozens of handwritten letters, their tone shifting gradually from admiring to possessive. Early notes contained declarations like "You're the most beautiful girl I've ever seen," but soon escalated to disturbing threats. "If I can't have you, no one can, and you belong to me now." Rebecca's management team, inexperienced in handling such intense fandom, dismissed these letters as the work of an overzealous but harmless admirer. In a tragic miscalculation, they filed them away without notifying authorities or increasing Rebecca's security, standard practice today, but alarmingly uncommon in 1980s Hollywood. When his letters went unanswered, Bardo's behavior grew more brazen. He began appearing at Warner Brothers studios where My Sister Sam filmed, sometimes waiting for hours just to catch a glimpse of Rebecca. Production staff eventually noticed the persistent teenager and increased security measures, but again, no one thought to involve law enforcement. Studio security simply shooed him away each time, treating him as a nuisance rather than the genuine threat he was becoming. The system's failures reached their peak when Bardo, determined to find Rebecca's home address, paid a private investigator $250 to obtain her residential information through California's DMV records. Astonishingly, this was completely legal at the time. Private investigators could freely access such sensitive information without needing to demonstrate legitimate purpose. The PI handed over Rebecca's home address without question, setting the stage for the final act of Bardo's obsession. The immediate trigger for the murder came when Bardo watched Rebecca's performance in scenes from the class struggle in Beverly Hills. A scene featuring Rebecca kissing a male co-star sent Bardo into a rage. In his twisted perception, this on-screen kiss represented betrayal, proof that Rebecca wasn't the pure idol he'd imagined. Later psychological evaluations would reveal Bardo suffered from erotomania, a delusional disorder where patients believe someone, often a celebrity, is secretly in love with them. Combined with a severe personality disorder, this created the perfect storm of dangerous obsession. After the shooting, Bardo displayed chilling calmness. He methodically disposed of the murder weapon in a nearby trash can, hailed a taxi, and directed the driver to take him to a church in Tucson, Arizona, over 400 miles away. His capture came hours later when the taxi driver, hearing news reports about the murder, recognized his passenger's nervous behavior and contacted authorities. Police found Bardo carrying several disturbing items: a copy of The Catcher in the Rye, the same book carried by John Lennon's killer, newspaper clippings about Rebecca, and a note reading, "I had to do it." The aftermath of Rebecca's murder sent shockwaves through American society far beyond typical celebrity tragedy coverage. Media outlets dissected every aspect of the case, exposing glaring holes in celebrity protection and privacy laws. The Schaefer family's lawsuit against the California DMV led directly to sweeping changes in how personal information could be accessed, laying groundwork for modern privacy protections. In Hollywood, the entertainment industry was forced to confront its lax approach to star safety, virtually overnight. Studios implemented stricter security protocols and many actors hired personal protection. Perhaps most significantly, Rebecca's death became the catalyst for America's first anti-stalking laws. Prior to 1989, law enforcement had limited tools to intervene before a stalker turned violent. The California Penal Code was amended in 1990 to create specific stalking offenses, with other states quickly following suit. These laws, now standard nationwide, are directly tied to the lessons learned from Rebecca's murder. From a criminal psychology perspective, Bardo's case remains a textbook example of how obsession escalates to violence when left unchecked. His path followed a clear, documentable progression: initial fixation, attempted contact, rejection sensitivity, and ultimately violent acting out. Each stage presented opportunities for intervention that were missed due to systemic failures and societal blind spots regarding celebrity stalkers. Today, Rebecca Schaeffer's legacy lives on in changed laws and heightened awareness. Yet haunting questions remain. In our digital age, where celebrities' personal information is often just a click away, are we truly doing enough to prevent similar tragedies? The uncomfortable truth is that while systems have improved, the fundamental vulnerability remains: the dangerous intersection of fame, obsession, and easy access. The earthquake of change, when tragedy rewrote the law. Rebecca Schaeffer's murder transcended the boundaries of a simple homicide case. It became a seismic wake-up call that forced America to confront gaping legal loopholes that had festered for decades. Within a single year of the tragedy, revolutionary changes swept through the U.S. legal system at unprecedented speed, changes that still protect millions today. As news of the murder spread through Hollywood like wildfire, the entertainment industry underwent an immediate security overhaul. Measures once considered excessive: background checks on audience members, 24/7 surveillance systems around actors' homes, armed personal security, suddenly became standard. We realized we'd been dangerously complacent, a Warner Brothers casting director admitted anonymously. Rebecca's death was our expensive wake-up call. But the true transformation began with the Schaeffer family's relentless crusade. Benson Schaeffer, Rebecca's grieving father, leveraged his entertainment industry connections to spearhead legal reform. "I won't let my daughter's death be meaningless," he declared through tears at a press conference. His efforts directly contributed to California passing its historic anti-stalking law in April 1990, just 9 months after the murder. This groundbreaking legislation for the first time clearly defined stalking as a criminal offense, encompassing behaviors like unsolicited appearances and indirect written threats, all actions Bardo had taken before killing Rebecca. Penalties included up to 5 years imprisonment. Crucially, the new law allowed courts to issue emergency restraining orders based solely on evidence of potential threat. The ripple effect of reform. The legal changes sparked by Rebecca's murder created waves far beyond stalking statutes. Law enforcement agencies nationwide implemented mandatory training programs to help officers identify early warning signs of obsessive behavior. Police departments established dedicated stalking units, while district attorneys' offices created special prosecution teams for stalking cases. Psychological experts became integral to these investigations. We finally recognized stalking as a distinct psychological pathology rather than just unwanted attention, noted Dr. Park Dietz, the forensic psychiatrist who consulted on Bardo's case. Mental health screening protocols were developed to assess stalkers' risk levels, with specific attention to erotomania and other delusional disorders. The digital frontier. As technology advanced, Rebecca's case took on new relevance in the digital age. The same privacy protections first enacted in 1990 became the foundation for later laws governing online harassment and data security. When social media emerged, policymakers referenced the Schaeffer case while drafting legislation about doxing and cyberstalking. Celebrities weren't the only beneficiaries. Ordinary citizens gained protections too. As anti-stalking laws were applied to workplace harassment, domestic violence cases, and even cyberbullying in schools. The legal precedent set by Rebecca's case helped establish that repeated unwanted contact, whether physical or digital, constituted criminal behavior. An unfinished legacy. Despite these advances, challenges remain. Stalking cases still often go unreported until violence occurs, and enforcement varies widely between jurisdictions. The National Center for Victims of Crime estimates that 7 5 million Americans experience stalking annually, suggesting Rebecca's lessons haven't fully taken root. Yet her impact endures. The Rebecca Schaeffer Fellowship was established to support research on violence prevention, while the annual Stalking Awareness Month each January keeps her memory alive in the fight for safety. Film sets now employ intimacy coordinators and security consultants as standard practice, a direct result of the industry's reckoning after her death. Retrospect reveals a painful truth. Sometimes legal progress demands tragic sacrifice. As Benson Schaeffer later reflected, every time someone is saved from a stalker by these new laws, that's when Rebecca still lives. His daughter's greatest legacy isn't her unfinished film roles, but the legal safeguards protecting millions she'd never meet, safeguards that continue to evolve as new threats emerge in our increasingly connected world. Legacy of an angel when tragedy became a lesson. Rebecca Schaeffer's life was cut tragically short, but her story became an indelible part of Hollywood history, not for her film roles, but for how her death fundamentally changed society's approach to celebrity safety. Though her career was brief, Rebecca left an unforgettable mark as Pam and My Sister Sam, a witty, intelligent character that mirrored her own vibrant personality. Director Woody Allen, who worked with her on Radio Days, recalled, "Rebecca had this authentic Brooklyn accent and natural radiance. She was exactly the kind of performer you knew had a brilliant future ahead." In 1990, 1 year after her death, her family established the Rebecca Schaeffer Memorial Fund to support community arts projects. Rebecca always believed in using art to help others. This is how we keep her spirit alive. Her mother Dana Schaeffer shared during a fundraiser. Rebecca's case became a cornerstone in personal security training. Talent agencies now employ threat assessment specialists who teach celebrities crucial protocols. Never disclose home addresses publicly. Implement multi-layered security systems. Report obsessive behavior immediately. What we once dismissed as harmless fan mail or gifts, we now recognize as potential warning signs, confessed a former Paramount security director. The entertainment industry's paradigm shift remains Rebecca's most tangible legacy. As a cultural analyst, I see Rebecca's tragedy exposing fame's cruel paradox: we idolize celebrities yet fail to protect their basic humanity. Investigative journalist Maureen Orth's observation haunts me: Rebecca didn't die because she was an actress, she died because society didn't know how to safeguard those who bring it joy. This lesson feels increasingly urgent in our digital age. Even in 2024, stars face rampant doxing, the malicious online exposure of private information. While California's anti-stalking laws have strengthened, social media platforms remain hunting grounds for modern-day bardas. Rebecca has become more than a victim. She's a symbol in the fight for privacy rights. Each time anti-stalking laws protect a celebrity, each time data protections thwart a predator, her legacy grows. Her childhood friend Jennifer Aniston perhaps put it best during a 2021 interview: "She left us too soon, but taught Hollywood's hardest lesson, that fame must come with societal responsibility." At the 30th anniversary vigil, flickering candles illuminated Rebecca's favorite quote displayed on screens: "Art should comfort the disturbed and disturb the comfortable." In death, she's done both, forcing us to confront uncomfortable truths about obsession, privacy, and the price of stardom. Now, when aspiring actors study My Sister Sam reruns, they see more than a promising talent. They see the woman whose death birthed celebrity safety protocols, the smile that launched 1,000 security cameras, the brief life that forever changed how America protects its stars. Rebecca Schaeffer passed away over 3 decades ago, yet her story continues to haunt us as an unyielding warning. Her death was not just a loss for her family or Hollywood. It was a profound rupture that forced American society to re-examine how it protects those who bring joy to the public. Looking back at the journey from tragedy to change, a harsh truth becomes clear: laws often only advance after lives are lost. Anti-stalking statutes, personal data privacy regulations, and new security standards in the entertainment industry all were written in the blood of an innocent young woman. As her father, Benson Schaefer, once said, "Every time the law saves a life, that's when Rebecca is reborn." From a personal perspective, I believe the lessons from this case remain acutely relevant. In the digital age, where just a few clicks can reveal a celebrity's home address or travel itinerary, we need even stronger protective measures. Rebecca was killed due to a lax legal system in 1989, but in 2024, digital bardos still exist. They've simply shifted from real-life stalking to online harassment. The biggest question still lingers: have we learned enough from the past? When stars like Selena Gomez or Taylor Swift still have to move homes constantly due to obsessed fans, when personal information is still sold on the dark web, perhaps the answer is not yet. Rebecca Schaefer's greatest legacy isn't just the specific legal changes, but rather the awareness of the true cost of fame. To conclude this essay, I want to reiterate the words of actress Pam Dauber, Rebecca's co-star in My Sister Sam. She died because she was too famous, but it was also because of that fame that she saved countless others. Rebecca Schaefer will forever be a reminder that, in a world infatuated with glamour, personal safety should never be the price of celebrity.